let's try to get to the number 6. We got to get back to the Quran after we finish the number 6. Okay. We say that we gave to Esav Har Seir, and the Jews get Eretz Yisrael. Rashi says, because if the Goyim will come along and they'll say, "Oh, we also have a part," so we say, David said that there's a price to pay for Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael nikna b'yisurim. You didn't pay the price. Eretz Yisrael doesn't belong to you. So the Frierdiker Rebbe says, "Ve'eten es Esav es Har Seir." The simple reading is L'Reshes Oisai, that Esav should inherit it. Frierdiker Rebbe says you can read it that the Jews should inherit it. Ve'eten Esav es Har Seir. In order that the Jews should be L'Reshes Oisai. But Kedusha said, "Moir Pirish, Pam Hashakos of L'Reshes Oisai sheyoshim es Esav la'achli shemevatlem es metzias haklipa de Esav shezo inyan tikun yoidish ha'oidis de toyu."
So they're watching.
So,
yeah. Why Dafka's house here?
That's another discussion.
No, I have the answer.
Yeah.
Esav was Sa'ir.
How to say it.
So they got him as Sa'ir.
Okay. The Heilige L'Zvila Rebbe said there was once a story of a child. He heard they're talking about the grandfather. Grandfather fell. He hurt himself. And a few days later, they're talking about that Nebuch is so sick, it doesn't know if he's going to survive. He can't even talk. The boy started crying. They said, "What happened?" He said, "My little brother just fell. And he also can't talk. Is he going to die?" Everyone started laughing. They said, "Well, they tried to explain to him. When an old man falls, he hurts himself. If he's sick and he can't even talk, it means he might be dying soon. Little baby can't talk. Because didn't learn yet how to talk. Fell, big deal. Well, bounce back." That's why Rivka calls Esav B'no HaGodel and Yaakov is B'no HaKotan. They're only 1 minute apart. He's B'no HaGodel, B'no HaKotan. Esav is at the old man. You know, he went to bed and bumped his head. And now he can't even talk. Who knows? He's going to die. By Yidden, they always bounce back. The Jews always bounce back.
This is your Shlemka and Zvil?
Yeah, Shlemka and Zvil. Okay, next piece. Number 4, Dvar Torah number 4. There is, usually the Alter Rebbe doesn't talk about reasons for Pikabola, but the Frierdiker Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe is very specific. He says, "Ein little be'ezba lishpach." You shouldn't put your finger in the wine, but you should pour it from the kois. V'yishbach l'tech kli shaver v'chaven shakois osoda malchus v'shoifech ma'yayin. That it's going to be the af and the zam into a kli shaver, which is the soda klipa, which is orur. All the wrath is being poured from into the kli shaver, which is the klipa. That's what the Alter Rebbe says. It's clear from the Alter Rebbe that you're not supposed to put your finger inside, but you're supposed to pour the cup.
But people put the fingers.
Some people put the fingers.
Yeah.
Why is it to pour from the cup? Because there is a episode, because you're pouring out through the koyach of bina. You're pouring out. You're pouring. The point is not with the finger. You have to pour because the kois is malchus. Your finger is nothing. Your finger is, I don't know what your finger is. Your finger is not matter. This is malchus. The kli shavur is klipa, and you have to pour out from malchus into the klipa.
What do we do with the wine that's?
I'll tell you in a second what to do with the wine. I'll tell you, mamish, 1 second. The broken keli. So the Rebbe said that also al pi nigla, you could say it's not derech eretz to put your finger into a cup that you're going to drink from it. It's a koshel bracha. If you were sitting now in a restaurant having a good steak, and you were drinking a kois shel yain, and I put my finger into your kois, would you appreciate that?
Oh.
So don't do that to a cup that you're planning to make a Boide Priagofen on,
So
and the whole Haggadah should be on it.
why in the breast the more take finger and do the baby? It's also not. It's a kosher bracha.
It's a good question. Yeah, that's a good
You
question.
can't just pour it.
The baby you can't.
No,
pour.
okay, but fingers. He's saying
Yeah.
fingers not
Yeah.
good here.
Yeah, I hear. You asked
Some
a good.
places maybe take a nap.
You asked a good question.
Shemata.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
some people take a shmata. Yeah. Okay. Dubna Magid has a great marshal, but before I get to that, someone just asked, "What are you supposed to do with the wine?" I was with my wife many years ago, 7, 8 years ago. We were in Guatemala. So there is a lake far away from civilization. Forget the name of the
You poured
lake.
it in the lake?
It's on here. It's on here. Wait a minute. Forget the name. Atetlan, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, we came
What's
to
it famous for?
Atetlan. It's famous from Shigoin. And then some primitive people. Yeah, we got to one of the islands there, and the people right away asked me, are you Leif Toher?
They asked you that?
Yeah. I said, what? You guys know of Leif Toher? They said, if you're Leif Toher, you can't come here. We don't want you.
They actually said Lev Toh.
Yeah. They said, anyway, there was a shliach in one of the islands there, forget which one.
Volcanically.
Yeah. And shliach had beautiful Chabad house. And we sat down, we were talking. He said, he had a big problem. He had a neighbor that had a discotheque. And by night, to get tumult, and to make it worse, he wanted to expand this place. He offered the Balabayas more rent than the Shliach could afford. And now they were going to evict the Shliach. Every year he has a Seder with over 300 Israeli backpackers. He makes a huge tent near the water. He has from 300 to 500 Israelis. That year he decided that all the wine that they spill, they should put into a big bucket, huge bucket. All the wine that they spilled, poured into one big bucket. After the Seder, he went to the Chabad house, he went on the roof, and he poured the whole bucket on the roof of his neighbor who was making him trouble. No one could explain. Right after Pesach, the discotheque closed down, and now the owner, who is now lost the tenant, offered him to take over the discotheque. So now,
So wait, this was the shliach?
the shliach, yeah, the shliach took all the wine that the people poured, and he poured it on the roof of the discotheque, and that's it. And he got rid of him. They
I want to do that to my neighbor.
now you know what to do.
They have to gather all the wine from everybody.
My wife said that they used to collect wine, they used to give it to the goyim to drink.
Now, one more story. The Maggid of Dubna said a story. He said, what's the difference if a person's cooking for himself or a person's a chef? Doesn't matter how great a chef he is. It's a hard day. Comes home. He wants to eat good stuff. What does he do? Puts up a pot, fries an onion, puts in some potatoes, some meat, and he has his supper. I bet you he's not shaving mushrooms, and he's not taking what's it called, the mushrooms from underground. What are they called?
Cabela mushroom.
No, truffles. He's not shaving truffles, making with truffle oil and figs and dates and beets, and trying to figure out how to make some fancy cheek meat or some other duck. The machnish is not making a menu with 17 pieces on a chef in his restaurant. Got to have a menu.
Yeah.
You got to change the menu. Dessert alone, you get 6, 7 types of dessert. Entrees, 5, 6. You got it all together. You have 25 pieces, all kinds of different gorgeous pieces. People go to restaurants, they take a picture before they eat. Mishagas. think Mishigas. They eat. It's okay. We have to eat. They take a picture before they eat. Put it on the status. But the chef knows that people take pictures, so he has to diversify his. So fragt, so alle meforshim the shaila, why do they have to be 10 makas? Maybe you should give them one good whack on the head.
One big
Take-
one.
Yeah, again, they take them out. So as I said, doing the mag, it's like the difference if you're cooking for yourself or you're a chef. Chef is trying to impress the customers. The Eibishter tried to impress the customers. The Eibishter said that he's doing it for a reason. The reason the Eibishter is doing it, Laman Teida, Laman Saper Shmi L'chol Haaretz. It wasn't just to save the Jews, but to save the Jews. One knack over the head, for the Mitzrayim, and they're done. The Eibishter wanted to show his koyach. The chef is trying to show off. I'm the world's best chef. What are you going to bring you? He's going to bring you some Hungarian goulash and a plate. Azoi, that's it. Was it does? So therefore, the Eibush had to have 10 makas. That's what it was, 10 makas. The 10 makas to brace the klippah. And when we pour the 10 things, it was a special kavona that we're throwing the afachema onto the klippah.
Why
This year,
dafka 10?
because we wanted to multiply, that there should be 10 makas of Iran and 10 times 10, and 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay. Number 5. Let's talk about matzah and then mortar, and we're done. Okay. The Zohar says the first night of Pesach, the matzah is called Michla de Memnusa. The second night's Michla das Vasa. The Mittel Rebbe said that when you have the first Emunah, then you don't get sick. Don't get sick. Someone says, so what do we need the Michla de Memnusa? You didn't already have Emunah. Yeah, because in Emunah itself, you can get higher level, and a higher level, and a higher level, and a higher level. Mashiach Tzakam. Whatever we're having Emunah today will be Vero called Basa, but the Emunah then will be in a higher level. The Rebbe used to send with Rabbi Slonim 3 matzahs every year to Yerushalayim. One when he came in Tavshich Chavtes, the Rebbe gave him only 2. So he asked, can I have a third matzah? So the Rebbe gave him a third matzah. He got to Yerushalayim, he found out that Rabbi Ari 11 passed away. Rabbi Ari 11 was the third matzah that Rebbe sent every year. The Rebbe already knew Baruch HaKodesh that. So it was a story with Shmuel Isaac Popek.
He was the prison's.
Yes. Darling special. The Shmuel Isaac Popek Tavshichavov Achim Pesach. The Rebbe called him over and gave him a piece of matzah for his father. You know Shmuel Isaac Popek was born in America. So his father was scheduled to have a surgery right after Pesach. And the Rebbe told him, that's Milchel de Asmosa, so I'm giving you a piece of matzah, your father's refuah. Brought the matzah to his father. His father had the matzah right before the surgery, double-checked, and said, we have no reason to do surgery. Man is healthy. You can go back home. Let's talk about the motor. Okay. The Rebbe had a shtick, pun intended, about motor. You know what shtick means? Shtick means 2 things. A shtick means like a shtick or like a shtick. Trick. A trick or a piece. The Rebbe's shtick with eating motor is that he would eat, besides the horseradish, he would eat. Now,
It's ground horseradish.
someone asked the Shaila in my Sunday Shiur that Tamcha is not really motor, the whole thing. I didn't do extent that there's 5 types of motor. We all agree that Roman lettuce is the top, is the best. But the minig Yisrael is, in order to feel the bitterness, to also use horseradish. Horseradish is not the highest level. It's the 3rd level. It's called Tamcha. Someone is sitting here Sunday saying, no, horseradish is not from the 5 kinds. But the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch calls it chrein. Chok Yaakov calls it chrein. And in the Haggadah here, the Rebbe
Russian.
Chrein is, exactly. Chrein is Rosh, but we know what Chrein is. So it could be he has a time on the Alter Rebbe, and could be he has a time of whatever. He could have his own thing, but Lamaisa,
It's definitely horseradish.
Chrein is horseradish, and that's what he writes that we use from water we use chrein, so that's it. The Rebbe used to use the chrein that the Rebbe used to use. The Rebbe used to take a big chunk, a big piece,
It wasn't just ground.
not just ground. The Rebbe used to take a solid piece, and both. So this Fabrenge, and this but the night of Pesach, the Rebbe said that this is the Rebbe said with a smile, this is my kunz, and I found the market to this in the minhagim of Rav Tzadik and Munkach. So Taka, I looked it up in the Ake Chaim Vishalom that the Minchas Eluzah said that the Minchas Eluzah was makbid to have both, to have ground mortar and have a chunk of mortar. Why did he have to have a chunk of mortar? So he says the reason. The Talmud says the reason. Why is the reason?
Extra strong.
No. Here.
Ground mortar and a chunk?
Yeah. Why? He says, I am Bagodas Maisen Nisim. I go in Balchavas Das. Shekosov Shebachrim Mefuret and Yotze Deche Vose. He's Kimmer Sefer Derech Pikudech. The Chavas Das said that if you grind it, you're not Yotze the mitzvah. The Chavas Das said if you grind it, you're not Yotze the mitzvah.
Because it's weak, because you're weakening it.
Yeah, you have to feel it.
Oh, so you have
Isn't that the reason?
And there were those that argued with him.
Up there to the house.
So therefore he was mischakim to use both. And the Rebbe was very happy to find the Taka that the Minchas Eluzah had the same shtick as him. His shtick was that he took a shtick of modern, and he had both the ground and the shtick. Now you're going to do that shtick?
No, my father used to do it like that. I do it.
Okay, so you're ready to do that shtick.
The
So you
Rebbe
take a
I'm
shtick.
gonna point it out
took
there,
a big
that
solid
it's
piece.
from the Minchas Eluzah.
That's a Minchas Eluzah, and there's a whole pilpul about it. Because Yeshayim and Dafkit should be ground, Yeshayim and Dafkit should be whole. The Rebbe in the year of Tavshin Lamed Ches, they brought the children out from Tehran.
Oh.
And they had a big Seder, Rabbi J.J. Hecht was in charge.
They made sure they have rice.
The Rebbe said they should make sure I have rice. And the Rebbe called him, and the Rebbe said, if you do him a favor, they made the mortar for that Seder for the children in Tehran. The Rebbe said, if you do him a favor and bring him a little bit of that mortar, he wants to eat dafka from that mortar that they prepared. So the Rebbe shall hold from that mortar that the Rebbe requested that he should eat, that the Mitzvah Shem, the Gmula Yoshev Loi Beroishoi, that the Mitzvah Shem, all that mortar that Ayatollahs should eat that mortar as in spades, with the shtick and without the shtick, side ground and side stickless.
Did you ever have your Isaiahs of
I'm not sure. I've asked my father.
Free.